Hi, I'm Kate and welcome to Farm Bread. So let's talk about your starter. Have you been feeding it every day and wondering, shouldn't something be happening by now? Well, if so, don't worry, you're not alone. A lot of folks feel like they're not really seeing much change with their starter. So they're reaching out with questions because they're feeling a bit stuck. Maybe they're not seeing a lot of growth or bubbles. And here you can see this one is pretty flat. Because I let it go for a little bit and I'm just starting to get back into the feeding cycle for it to grow and rise. So today I'm going to walk you through some reasons why your starter might not be doing much, and then I'll offer some simple solutions on how to help your starter grow and thrive. So first, don't panic. Before we start troubleshooting, I want to reassure you of something. Most starters are actually way more resilient than people think. And in fact, that's one of the biggest mistakes beginners make, is giving up too soon. Your starter is a living thing, and sometimes it simply just needs a little bit more time. Trust me, I have neglected starters many times. I've been busy, I've been on vacation, and my schedule just didn't allow, and I neglected my starter. Many times I've been able to bring my starter back to life with a little patience and just a few feedings. And keep in mind, if your starter doesn't look quite like somebody else's does, especially on social media, do not worry. Every kitchen's different and every starter develops at its own pace. So for one thing, your starter may just be too young. One of the most reasons a starter seems to not be growing or doing anything is simply because it just needs to be fed more. Don't expect this dramatic growth at the beginning. It usually takes anywhere from 7 to 10 days to really develop a active, bubbly starter that's ready to be used. So when you're building your starter, consistency is really important. Try finding a certain time every day that you can come back to your starter and feed it, and that's really important. At least feeding it once a day and trying to get on a schedule or a routine that fits into your schedule so that it's in a natural time for you to come back to it is really helpful. But do not worry if you forget to feed it one day. You haven't killed it completely. Just feed it when you can. Try to come up with a good schedule that will work for you, but you will inevitably forget to feed it one day, and that is no cause for alarm. Just feed it when you can and then get back into that routine. And once you've built a nice routine, you will start to see some little signs of progress, which leads me to my next point. Look for small signs of progress. We're not looking for major results immediately here. We're looking for small little signs that you're noticing in your development of your starter. Doubling in size isn't the only thing that we're looking for. We're also looking for bubbles that are growing in size. You're also looking at the texture. As the texture gets airier, it will start to get stretchier. It will also develop a tangy smell and arise after each feeding. These are all signs that your starter is developing properly and you're making progress. Remember, small progress over time, not dramatic changes up front. So as you're tracking the progress of your starter, one kind of fun, helpful tip that I have is once you feed your starter, you can actually place a rubber band around your jar at the height of the starter after feeding. And as your starter's developing and rising, you can actually track the growth that it's making. And that's just a fun thing to do. All right, so one issue is your kitchen might be too cool. So as you're feeding and developing your starter, one thing I recommend is finding a draft-free place in your home or your kitchen, wherever you're feeding your starter, where you can store it daily and come back to daily, like a kitchen cabinet. I keep mine right over here in the cupboard where it's draft free, it's warm, and it's a great place for the starter to develop and grow. If you find that your location is out in the open and it's getting a draft, doors opening and closing, that's no good. So find a nice little spot where it can be happy and it can grow and thrive. Check your flour. So you definitely want to make sure you're using a fresh, unbleached, high quality flour when you're using and developing your starter. I love organic, but sometimes it's just unaffordable. King Arthur is a great company, also Arrowhead Mills. I love to buy from local sources, Lindley Mills out of North Carolina, also Janie's Mill. I believe they're in the Midwest. You can find some really reputable local flour mills that are wonderful to use. But if not, at your local grocery, you just want to look for something that's unbleached, it's fresh, so it hasn't expired, and it's a high quality flour. And if you've had your flour in your pantry for a bit of a time, definitely check the expiration date and make sure that it hasn't expired. And if your starter is seeming a little bit sluggish, definitely try adding a little bit of whole wheat flour, because that can really help with the activity and the development of your starter. Here's a really important one to think about, is the consistency and the texture of your starter. So we're really aiming for something that's thick, like a paste, kind of like a thick Greek yogurt or a thick pancake batter. Definitely not too runny, thicker, and something with a little bit of structure. So definitely make sure that you're following along and checking your texture and the consistency, and not just following the ingredient measurements. So to wrap things up, if your starter doesn't seem like it's showing much progress, don't get discouraged. It could be just a few simple things that you have to check. Most of the time, it's just a simple solution of consistency during feeding, checking your flour, observing and checking the texture and the consistency, and just having a little patience. It's really all about noticing your starter and listening to what it's telling you. Once you start noticing these small little changes, things tend to get a lot easier. You'll be headed in the right direction. If you're new to sourdough and totally intimidated by the process of creating and developing a starter, I have created a step-by-step course that walks you through creating your starter to baking your very first loaf. I'll put a link in the description and comments below for you, so definitely check that out. It's a course where I walk you through the process one simple step at a time. I'd love to hear from you if this has been helpful. I'd also love to hear, where are you at in the process? What's going right? What's going wrong? Just let me know. I'd love to help you along the way. As always, I so appreciate your feedback, your comments, your viewership, likes, subscribes, and shares. If you have any questions, definitely post them below, and I will get back to you as soon as I can. Thanks for watching, and happy baking.